Howdy, howdy, folks, and welcome to Moose Podcast 334. Top of the week to you. I appreciate you stopping by for a little bit. Hey, I heard from some of you this week. I posted a new video on Calibrite's new profiler. Really sweet, real simple. And it's just a $9.99 upgrade, but it's more than just an upgrade, but that's what we call it these days. Hey, it's great stuff. And I appreciate the few of you who reached out with some questions. And to answer some of those in a real quick nutshell, you do not have to calibrate your monitor. But like I mentioned in that video, and I sincerely believe it's why I've been doing it forever, how are you going to have a measuring stick in which to figure out what you've done right, what you've done wrong? To be consistent, to keep moving that photography forward, which got to understand that that's kind of what the Moose podcast is all about. So, but no, there are some very well-known photographers out there who do not calibrate. It's 100% up to you. Okay, I can't live without it. Appreciate the questions though, and appreciate you taking time to listen. I'm also very appreciative of my good friends at Bedford Camera, bedfords.com, who sponsor the Moose podcast. Hey, a number of folks have reached out to them and pre ordered the 85 1.2, the new Z Lens. I'd be really curious and I'd be grateful if you are one of those folks to reach out and let me know. I have not heard one way or the other from folks who all is getting it, but I'm not so much of who's getting it, but I'm curious, really curious. What is your main goal with that lens photographically? What are you going to go after? It's a beautiful lens. Oh, man, gorgeous lens. And I'm envious for those folks who are ordering it and putting their kit. But if you have the time, drop me a simple email, moose@moosepeterson.com, and just tell me your primary target for that lens. I really would love to know. It's just a fascinating new lens and depth of focus. Really cool. I just got half my gear back from Nikon Repair. Not that it was damaged, but in for its annual CLA, clean, lube, and adjust. Yes, I still do that. I had 2 emails this week wondering if I still do that. Yeah, it is getting to be more and more of a challenge to find a block of time. Uh, you've got, there's shipping, right? Shipping to and from, and you have 30 pounds of gear. You don't want to send it overnight because that's kind of pricey. So you got, 4 days shipping there, 4 days shipping back. So yeah, I got it back. It's all clean, spanking new. Inside, all to factory specs, all tight. And yeah, I still think it's really important. That's why I send in half one part of the year and then the other half during the other quote unquote quieter time of the year. Thank Nikon for their great service and taking care of my gear because I kind of really depend on it. Um, Says Sear, did I finish my Bedfords.com? You guys should know the drill, right? Bedfords.com, a Moose discount, 5%, free shipping of $100, great gear, great prices. And I didn't mention this week, getting old. Hey, into March, I'm going to be at their Arkansas store, and we're going to talk aviation. Yeah, baby. I've got a new class that I'm putting some finishing touches on. I've got some things I'm shooting this month. I'm going to include. That's going to be really cool addition. And I hope you're there to join us that evening. Information's on the blog post, the website, Instagram, and of course at bedfords.com. So, thanks for sponsoring the Moose Podcast and hosting that great event. Let me see. Another thing. Good thing I wrote notes. I would have forgotten this. So, this past week, you might have noticed there's been some crazy weather. We had an incredible cold front go through North America. Not so much here at the ranch, but definitely east of us. But what we saw is still kind of surprising. We have this huge uptick in birds at the ranch, especially getting ready for spring. And this is the end of February. It is really early for all our notes, but for example, all three of the nuthatch species here, the pygmy, the red-breasted, and white-breasted, they are very actively broadcasting. They're going in and out cavities. The white breasts are doing their circular flights in front of their cavity to advertise. Crossbills came in today. I mean, it's like acting like spring. And if it is, that's really early. I bring that up because if you are into birds, nesting birds, spring birds, I would, even though it's not real comfortable out right now, it's kind of nippy. I would definitely be on the lookout and thinking about it because it might be happening a bit early this year. So check it out. All right. Excuse me. Get right into this week's podcast. Where are you at? Now, I bring it up because someone this week emailed, asked me that same question, asking me where I'm at as far as what I said just 45 days or 60 days ago when it comes to what I want to do in 2023. And then they kind of said where they're at, looking for some help. So where am I at? Well, I have actually, drum roll please, have posted 2 videos already on my YouTube channel. Not bad for the start of the year. 2 so far. There's hope. I don't count the ones at the top of my moosepierce.com page, but I'm actually ones that can help you move photography forward. So I've gotten 2. So I've met that goal. I have not shot as much at the ranch as I would like. Sure reminds me that I have electric socks and electric hand warmers and all the clothing, but it's still going out and sitting in the blind and working the new scenario I set up last fall. It just has not been very inviting. No. And then shooting out from the house, the heat shimmer from the heat from the house going out to that, we got down to minus 27 this past 30 days. Yeah, not a good idea either. So, not so well on that avenue. But I have gotten 2 new articles out there, so that's 3 so far this year. So I'm feeling good about that. But probably the thing that I am happiest about is the fact that I'm actually pushing some of the things I have learned in my 40 years a little bit further, trying to even get my photography even better this year. And that's really the point of this whole process. It's the point of the podcast. So where are you at? Now, the person who emailed me, they said that they were feeling not only cabin fever, which of course it's wintertime, the end of wintertime makes sense, but a frustration because they don't know where to take the next step. And I can understand that. And it took a couple emails back and forth, but basically, on a limited budget with what they thought was limited gear, how could they go out and not only have fun, pursue their passion, which is critter photography, with their limited stuff, but actually push their photography? That's you know, retrospective, looking back at where you are at, is really a smart thing to do. Whatever creative thing you go about, or sports, or anything. So, with a couple questions, found out that not really too far from where they live. They actually could walk there if they were so motivated. Not everybody wants to, but they have a duck pond, and it's a duck pond where people seem to fish and people feed the ducks, but it's just a duck pond. They said, and I go, okay. And they said, we don't have a big lens. I said, okay. I said, can you lay down on the ground? Yeah. Why? I said, what if you were to shoot at water's level, birds that come floating by? Find the spot on that shore where you've got the great light, got the great background. Birds go bopping by that you can, with your 7300 zoom, photograph them motoring by at the perfect light of the day. They never had thought of that. And they thought that challenge would be really cool. I said, yeah, there's a lot of things you can do from that very simplistic approach. Simple lens, not far from the house, a, a duck pond, right? That everybody's using in the community to, in theory, create photographs that no one else could possibly take. Because if the birds are already habituated, and I have not been to this place, I don't know, but they're being fed, then and people are fishing and they're still around, you have to assume that they are somewhat, if not totally habituated. You can get close physically and you could get a lot accomplished. You could get those great shots. You could learn about depth of focus. You could motivate yourself to create photographs that you might want to hang on the local coffee shop wall to talk about what you do. And then that could generate more ideas from other people and maybe sales to make money for you get the idea. So take an inventory where you're at, I think is very important. Simple things like where are you at physically? I talked about this last week and it brought in a couple interesting emails and one guy was kind enough to point out that I'm getting older, and I was like, "Yeah, I know that," and that's part of it. And like that, I have aches and pains like everybody else, but it doesn't mean I'm going to stop. I'm not dead yet. So where is the strength of your left arm? Literally, where is it at? I ask that because if you are a bird photographer, if you are an aviation photographer, if you're a photographer who likes to handhold like I do, the strength of the left arm is really important. Now, I injured my left arm about 20 years ago now. So if I don't continually, and I mean continually, keep pressing the weights, I get such a cramp in my arm after hand holding for 15 minutes or so. I'm done for a long time. So I have to do it. There's no other way of doing it. I'm motivated to get it done. Where are you at with your basic proper hand holding technique? Are you taking advantage of it? Where are you with your flash technique? Um, if you are in the northern part of North America, so you're not in Arizona, parts of, Southern California, things like that, hummingbirds will be coming in shortly. And I think they're probably going to be start reaching up to where I'm at probably by the 1st of April. Going to be early. I think they're going to come through really early. Where are you in your flash technique to photograph those hummingbirds? Have you upped your game? Have you done some tests? What kind of tests could you do? What I often recommend to people is to find a small red Christmas ornament, maybe an inch in diameter. Why red? Well, that's the common gorget color of a hummingbird. Can you light that so you get all the surface of that Christmas ornament that is facing you, the film sensor, all lit up evenly without people saying, "Oh, it looks like you use flash"? That's one simple thing you can do to see where you're at with your flash technique to be ready for hummingbirds. Where are you at when it comes to feeding your birds or creating that backyard shooting gallery to photograph your birds? Do feeders need to be spruced up? Do nesting boxes need to be cleaned? Do shrubs need to be, perhaps pruned? Think about those things. Where are you at when it comes to travel this year? Have you looked at your plans? And I hope you all have some great plans coming in the future. Have you thought about now what it is you need? Um, do you need some extra piece of gear? Do you need a new bag? For example, I'm going to be photographing snail kites in about, I guess, about 30 days, maybe 45 days. Going to be on an airboat. Learning from last year's lessons, I wanted to go out with the same amount of gear, but a whole lot less bag uh, for a number of reasons. One, because I want just a simple ease of operation. Two, the space. I don't have to give so much of my personal space up to a big bag. And three, it's got to be able to protect my gear, not so much from water because it doesn't get that wet, but there's a hell of a lot of wind. So I went out and started looking and I picked up the Trailblazer from Think Tank. Where are you at with your bags? And I bring it up so I get it so early. Why? Because one, I want the bag. I want to know how I've got it packed. I don't want to have to get a bag 2 days before I go on a trip and then have to open up all the whole bag once I'm on in the field to figure out where I put things. I kind of want that muscle memory to be in place. And muscle memory is really important. That's why we do all these things kind of, at least I highly recommend you do them well in advance. I have my lists here. I have one, two, 4 lists that are on my desk. And the 4 lists are for the 4 shoots I'm going to be doing in the next basically 40 days. And each list has uh, on it. So, I mean, I know where I'm at for each thing. I have a list of the research I've done. It's there. I have information for travel. That's there. I have my basic kit lined out. I have the goals that I have set for myself. I have my reminders. Um, for example, I'm going up to photograph Northern Lights here in 10 days. My list is to make sure all my remote firing devices have fresh batteries in them. All these kind of basic things that you know they slip the mind. So when it comes to knowing where you're at, one of the first things you might want to do is get yourself something really nice to drink, a Merlot, bourbon, rum and coke, something. Sit down with your Sharpie S Gel pen. Not talked about these for a while. They are still the best pen out there, the Sharpie S Gel. Pad of paper, write and rain paper, my favorite, and create that list to say, where are you at? Where are you at with what you want to do? Where are you at where you want to be as a photographer? Where are you at in the projects are coming in the next couple months and this year? Taking time to take gauge where you're at, even though it's not necessarily pushing a shutter release button, is pushing your photography forward. It's making you think, and making you think engages the brain, which pumps the heart, which then brings up the passion. And next thing you know, you're making great images. You guys have a great week. And remember to make every image your story.